When I accidentally bumped into the quiet girl in the hallway, she dropped to her knees and started sobbing. My shoulder caught the strap of Rose's backpack as I squeezed past her in the crowded hallway, and the whole thing slipped off her shoulder and fell to the floor. Rose was the quietest girl in our entire school. I had been in 3 classes with her over 2 years, and I don't think I had ever heard her speak. So when she dropped to her knees and started wailing like I had offed someone, I was genuinely terrified. The hallway went dead silent, and then people started pulling out their phones to record Rose as she screamed. A random girl grabbed my arm. "What did you do to her?" I shook my head because I had no idea. "I didn't do anything," I told her. "I just bumped into her bag." Rose was making sounds I had never heard come out of a person before. It was somewhere between a sob and a scream, and it echoed off the metal lockers on both sides of us. "Should we go get someone?" the girl asked, but neither of us moved. We just stood there watching like everyone else. Rose was on her hands and knees tearing through everything that had spilled onto the floor. A guy from my history class nudged his friend and said, "Imagine crashing out over a pencil case," and a few people actually laughed. Rose was throwing aside notebooks, pens, and crumpled papers like she was desperately searching for something buried underneath all of it. "Oh my god, she's actually going insane," a girl next to me whispered while pointing her phone directly at Rose's face. I watched her fingers moving across the screen, adding some caption that would probably be everywhere by lunch. Someone near the back of the crowd yelled, "Somebody get this girl a straitjacket!" And even more laughter spread through the hallway. A teacher down the hall called out, "What's going on over there?" But nobody answered her because they were all too busy watching the show. Rose didn't seem to hear anything going on around her. She just kept digging through her stuff with shaking hands while tears streamed down her face and dripped onto the tile floor. Her breathing was ragged and desperate, and she kept whispering, "No, no, no," under her breath like a prayer that wasn't being answered. Then her hands closed around something small at the very bottom of the pile. She pulled it out, held it up to her face to examine it closely, and made a sound that made my chest physically hurt. It was an old Tamagotchi with a cracked screen that had gone completely dark. She held it against her chest and rocked back and forth on her knees, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. "It's a toy," someone said. "She's crying over a literal toy." A teacher finally pushed through the crowd and knelt down on the floor next to her. "Honey, what happened?" she asked in this soft, careful voice. "Talk to me." Rose could barely get the words out between sobs. "It was my brother's," she choked. "He died 4 years ago. I kept it alive this whole time and now it's gone." The teacher's hand went straight to her mouth and I could tell she was trying not to cry. I looked over at the guy who made the straitjacket comment and his face had gone completely white. Everyone who was recording on their phones put them away. "He was only 9, Rose said with her voice breaking into pieces. "He got sick and it happened so fast. This stupid toy was his favorite." She curled her whole body around it like she was protecting something precious and fragile. "I told it goodnight every single night just like I used to with him. I know it's just plastic, but it needed me every day and taking care of it felt like I was still taking care of my little brother somehow. Now he's gone all over again." The teacher pulled her into a hug and Rose just kept repeating, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," into her shoulder, but I don't think she was talking to any of us. I knelt down next to Rose on the cold tile. "I have one at home," I said quietly. "Same exact kind. You can have it." She looked up at me with red swollen eyes and whispered, "It won't be his." I told her, "I know, but you can still tell it goodnight." She took a deep breath and nodded.